This episode is brought to you by SmartVestor. Connect with an investing pro near you at RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor.
Up next, we have Sally in Los Angeles. Hi, Sally. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. How can we help?
Big picture, I recently sold my house and I was able to get about $300,000 kind of tax-free because I didn't have to qualify to do any capital gains on it because I lived in it in the past couple of years and whatnot. And now I'm sitting on this little nest egg of mine, and I've invested like the first $50,000 into stock. And there's obviously some fluctuations on a day-to-day basis based on, what the president of the United States sometimes also tweets. Things change and whatnot.
What do you mean, really Sally? What do you mean?
Yeah, what am I supposed to? I want to move, but I feel like I'm almost playing like hopscotch here, where I'm like, no, can I go now? And I'm like, right now it's just sitting there, and I'm like, I'm thrilled I have it, but I also just don't want to be irresponsible.
Are you needing this money anytime soon, or were you looking at this just to put away for years down the road?
I'm looking to put it away. I think that is the best solution for me. My husband and I were doing fine. Pretty much he's covering all the current expenses. We have toddler. We're doing it. And we don't have any debt or anything along those lines. I don't feel like I can purchase anything with what I have in our current area. It's a high cost of living area, so that's not really an option either. It can be put away for a moment, but I'd also like to maximize some of my earning possibilities for it as well.
For sure. So do you guys own a home?
Well, he owns a home that we don't currently live in. He's renting it out. I also was renting out my old house before I sold it, and honestly, I sold it because I was like, I hate being a landlord. This is not the business for me. It gives me so much anxiety.
Yeah.
So we have homes. We have, so we have the deductions from like being homeowners. We also have deductions from being parents. And so in this specific area, it's quite expensive. So it's like, I don't know if my little nugget would really make much of a dent.
Well, I think eventually you guys need to talk about home ownership. So whether that's you guys moving back into maybe the home that he owns, you guys are married?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, home ownership needs to be a long-term goal for you guys. And I know that you're in an expensive area, but for your, financial future ongoing, home ownership will be the cheapest route because rent will just continue to go up, right? So letting that be,
totally agree.
Yes. So letting that be a goal, which this money could be used for. And I understand you're saying not right now, which is totally fine. So we always say investing, you want to give it around a 4-year kind of benchmark. So to give it 4 years to do the up and down. And in that time, there'll be an election, all of that, right? So you think about the time frame. That kind of feels good to ride out the highs and lows if you're going to use this money down the road. So if you're going to use it less than 4 to 5 years, I would not invest it. But if you think you're going to keep it in somewhere for 4 to 5 years, then yes, investing still for me would be the answer because we're not looking at what you're saying, a 30-day span, right? If you looked at the last 30 days, yeah, it looks insane. But that's not always the case. In fact, last year the market was
over 20%.
20% last year, which is just
exactly
crazy.
And that's the thing. I don't want to even do like a high interest savings account. And I just feel like that's like money left on the table.
That's right. Yes.
Of that growth.
So that's why the investing has a long-term. You have to have a long-term mindset. And so right now, actually, which George, you talk about this in your book, Breaking Free from Broke, when you buy low, which is what it is, right now with the volatility, you're actually going to get to buy more shares, if you will. So as everything goes up, you kind of have more eggs in your basket, if you will, when the market does go up. Because over the course of, the trajectory of what the stock market has done since its inception, it does go up. The American economy overall goes up. So that just means you actually are going to be making more down the road if you buy now low. But that's kind of an investor's mindset, George.
Yeah, I always like to say time in the market beats timing the market. And right now, Sally, it's stressful because you're trying to time the market. Mm-hmm. And only God knows what's going to happen, right? And so it's just easier to not look at it and just know, I'm going to lock this money away and just let it ride and keep adding to it. And then 4 or 5 years from now, you're going to look up and there could be $500,000-$600,000 in there. And now that's a serious down payment. even with the prices in LA 5 years from now. And so I would make it a goal and say, you know what, instead of going, well, we can't buy a house, just go, we're going to buy a house and we're going to save up $500,000 as a down payment to do that.
Yeah, I like it.
So what is it invested in?
super
Because you said I'm invested in stocks, and that scared me. Do
Yeah.
you mean single stocks or like an index fund?
No, index. And
Okay.
honestly, I don't feel like the most fluid with having this conversation on that topic. I right now just have like I took 50,000 of that 300, and it's in like VOO.
Sure.
And then the rest is just like sitting there.
Yeah.
You can invest the rest in there and let it ride and keep adding to it every single month. Make it a goal. Hey, we're going to add $3,000 a month to this. That's 36 grand a year, growing for us with compound growth. And you can do some projections and see that 5, 6, 7 years from now, it's probably going to be closer to 700 grand if you do it this way. And then when you have enough to where you can go, all right, we can take out a mortgage. It's going to be 25% or less of our take-home pay, 15-year fixed. Let's go ahead and pull the trigger and get this house.
And I get it, Sally. I mean, and when I think about investing personally, I look maybe once a year at what's going on, because I would give myself a panic attack every time I looked at the market, to your point, specifically
And usually
right
you
now.
only look when it's down. Nobody looks when it's up and doing great.
That's right. And that doesn't hit the news either, right? It was not like flashing all over everywhere of how amazing the
Every
last
record
2 years
high
were.
we've hit.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 years have been insane. And then this year not so great, but that's what we're seeing in the news. And so, and I get it. Winston and I actually had some money in a high yield savings that I actually talked to you about this, and we pulled some of it and invested it. Literally, Sally, I think like 32 days ago. It was like right before everything hit the fan. And Winston and I were like, oh, that doesn't feel good to see it go down. And I was like, this is why I do not look. Because most of the stuff, I'm like,
The
just.
vending machine ate
It
your
is.
money.
Yes, that's how it felt. But then I go back to my brain of what I just talked you through, of what I know. And I'm like, we're not needing this money for, a couple of years. So like, just let it ride and let it do its thing. So that is what you would have to do. And it would be the smartest thing. I would still do what we did.
Yeah.
Again, because I know what's happening,
And if you can, Sally, I would auto invest it. And that way it's out of sight, out of mind. I don't want to see the money. I want to just leave and go straight to that investment account. I don't want to touch it.
And the reason you can be so, blinded by it, if you will, is because what you're investing in has a good track record, right? What we talk about with index funds or even mutual funds is you are buying, 90 to 200 stock in a mutual fund. And even with some of the index funds, it's the S&P 500 in general.
Top 500 companies based on market
and so
cap.
that's why you can kind of not have to look at it and feel like you have to manage it, because it's just doing what the economy is going to do, right? It just kind of rides that wave versus stressing about Apple or Tesla or whatever, right? If you're trying to manage single stocks and all of it. So that's kind of the beauty of that diversification method that index funds or mutual funds gives you, is because there's a lot of kind of safety in it. Because if it all hits right down and it all kind of falls out, then the American economy's done.
Yeah.
So at that
We
point,
got bigger fish to fry. If every company in America goes bankrupt, we're like, all right, this is the end.
That's when hoarder Rachel.
But what's helpful for me, Sally, is when you're looking at the line graph of like returns on whatever investment you have, I never look at it less than a 3-year. Because if you look at it a 1 week, a 1 month, you're freaking out, even 1 year. But when you look 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, the further back you go, the more up and to the right it goes. And so that's just a good perspective to have, that you are investing for the long term. It doesn't matter if you, on paper, lost $20,000, because you didn't. You didn't sell. You hung on to it.
Yeah.
So keep up the ride.
I think I need to just pep talk to get out of my way, because I don't come from money. I'm thrilled that I'm here today now having this opportunity, and I'm like, oh, don't mess it up.
Yes,
You're doing great. You're doing better than you think.
And that caution, that's a good spirit to have. I mean, honestly, to really research.
Wisdom.
Yes, research and understand, and you have to feel good about it. But George and I, that's what we do personally, so we would not tell you something that we wouldn't do.